Thank you, Ambassador Danon. I would now like to invite His Excellency Mr. Michael Waltz, Permanent Representative of the United States, to deliver his remarks.
Ambassador Danon, thank you for those incredibly powerful words. Excellencies, survivors, friends, today the United States of America joins the international community in honoring the memory of those 6 million Jews murdered in cold blood in the Holocaust, including 1.5 million innocent children, and the millions more who were persecuted and killed by the Nazi regime. We remember them, we mourn them, and we recommit ourselves with fierce determination to pursue justice for the victims, for the survivors, and their families. We, the United States, we, the international community, must remain unyielding, unapologetically committed to combating anti-Semitism, not just in the United States, but around the world, including right here at the United Nations, the very institution that was born from the ashes of World War II, where the world then vowed never again. Well, colleagues and excellencies, I have tragic and sad news for you that it is happening again. The UN must do far more now to confront this ancient poison, to fulfill its founding promise, and to protect every people, including the Jewish people. As a soldier myself, I'm proud to say that 81 years ago, it was American and Allied forces who played an indelible role in tearing open the veil of Nazi evil. In April 1945, U.S. Army troops liberated Ohrdruf, the first concentration camp they encountered, a sub-camp of Buchenwald, confronting literally piles of emaciated corpses and the stench of mass industrial scale murder. Days later, the soldiers of Patton's U.S. Third Army liberated Buchenwald itself, where nearly 21,000 survivors awaited death from starvation, from typhus, and from sheer brutality. And then those same soldiers liberated Dachau, which we should remind everyone wasn't off in the woods or out in some remote place. It was literally across the street. Literally across the street from the city. Those gates in Dachau opened to reveal crematoria ovens, mass graves, and the skeletal survivors, prisoners who had endured an unimaginable torment. Thank God that General Dwight David Eisenhower had the foresight to order immediate and extensive documentation of all of the atrocities. He sent that command out immediately because sadly he foresaw that this would be questioned in the future. He personally went to visit the camps and personally witnessed the atrocities. And he later stated, quote, "I made the visit deliberately in order to be in a position to give firsthand evidence of these things if ever in the future there develops a tendency to charge these allegations merely to propaganda." These American liberators, young men, boys really, from every corner of our nation, did not seek this burden. And what, as an aside, I want to say that is so unique about the American soldier is they are willing to go all over the world and die for other people's freedom. Those people, those soldiers bore witness so the world could never, ever again plead ignorance. Their courage ended one nightmare and issued that timeless command that we've said today, never again. But never again must be words, it has to be more than words, and it has to be action. And yet today, that command also rings out a warning. Anti-Semitism is not vanquished. It rages anew. It's reaching the worst levels globally since the end of World War II. It ignited and accelerated the barbaric Hamas terrorist attacks of October 7th, 2023, when over 1,200 innocents were slaughtered, families were burned, hostages were taken. It was an orgy of hatred that targeted Jews explicitly and unapologetically. The Anti-Defamation League's latest Global 100 Index reveals that almost half of the world's adults now harbor deeply entrenched anti-Semitic attitudes, more than double the figure from a decade ago, and the highest they have on record. Younger generations, sadly, under 35, show even higher levels of prejudice. And meanwhile, the Combat Anti-Semitism movement documented a staggering 107% increase in global incidences in 2024, not 81 years ago, in 2024. In the United States, the ADL's 2024 audit recorded 9,354 incidents, the highest ever in their 46 years of tracking. Assaults up 21%, vandalism up 20%, campus incidences amongst our young people exploding at 84%. In Europe, the surge has been especially acute. The European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights documented that Jewish communities reported an increase of more than 400% in anti-Semitic incidences, harassment, threats, vandalism, and violence. And this wave of hate has left synagogues under siege. Jewish students, once again, hiding their identity. Whole communities living in fear. I mean, what are we, back in 1933? This is absurd. And we have to call it out. And I commend the United Nations for continuing to hold this event. But it is, look, this is a people that cannot live unless they live within fear. It's families fleeing their neighborhoods. I mean, I've seen synagogues here in the United States with armed guards, armed up like fortresses, and the venomous chants that are echoing in the streets and on our campus. And online. It's Holocaust denial, it's distortion, it's rehabilitation in these historic narratives of Nazi collaborators. It's the manipulation of history right here at the UN and elsewhere. It's all a pretext for hatred. And it leads to things like we just saw at Bondi Beach in December. 15 innocent people murdered during Hanukkah. Elie Wiesel once hoped that anti-Semitism perished in Auschwitz. And sadly, he lived to see its horrific resurrection. We cannot wait for another liberation. So what do we do about it? Like, what do we do? Well, first and foremost, education, commemoration. I firmly believe, and I know so many of you do, remain our mightiest weapons. We have to amplify survivors' voices. By the way, I am so honored to meet you, to know you, to understand your history, but to celebrate your strength, to truly celebrate your strength. You did not become a lifelong victim. You moved forward and educate the next generation so that this can never happen again. Look, we have to teach that next generation that this dark abyss that leads to and results from unbridled Semitism is someplace we can never go again. And we urge every nation to honor the victims and survivors by teaching this history unflinchingly. No future generation can repeat these horrors. And the United States proudly stands as a founding member of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Reiterating at every turn, never again. We reaffirm our commitment to justice through restitution, and through compensation. The other horrible thing, amongst many horribles, is that the Holocaust was history's largest organized theft, an attempt to erase Jewish life, but at the same time enriching the Nazis. And for decades, I'm proud to say, the U.S. has led efforts, now advanced by the State Department's Special Envoy for Holocaust Issues, who works very closely with the Special Envoy for Antisemitism, Rabbi Yehuda Kaplun, whom I am proud to call a friend and a wingman in this fight. In 2024, the U.S. partnered globally to promote the best practices for the Washington Principles on Nazi-confiscated art and assets. And as of December of 2025, 35 countries have endorsed them. That should be celebrated, that should be applauded, but we should also ask, why only 35? Why isn't there more? And I'm calling on all nations to join. Look, colleagues, President Trump has advanced these causes resolutely. Right out the gate, after his inauguration, he issued executive orders and ordered our entire government, the entire might and weight of the United States government, to combat anti-Semitism aggressively on every front. But, Excellencies, the Holocaust, as we've heard here today, and I just want to reinforce, the Holocaust is not distant history. It is a dire, living warning against efforts to revive this existential threat to humanity. The barbarism of October 7th reminds us how quickly hatred can erupt into mass murder. The future hangs on our choices we make right here today. And on this solemn day, please let us honor the victims through decisive action. What are those actions? Truthful, accurate remembrance and history, rigorous Holocaust education, open the archives, full restitution, and an unbreakable stand against anti-Semitism everywhere and always. May the memory of the victims be a blessing, but a call to responsibility for us all. Never again, starting now. Let's get to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ambassador Waltz. It is my pleasure